here because this is another item for Greek cuisine that we're going to want to get into the refrigerator and let it meld for overnight would be best, but again, it's one of those things. An hour is probably pretty good. We're going to do actually 2 takes on our tzatziki. The typical treatment of this, or the typical presentation, is you're going to use dill in it. Love dill, a little bit of garlic, salt, pepper in there as well in our Greek style yogurt. But people get to be allergic to the strangest things. My wife has actually found that she's allergic to dill. So for her, so she can also have some of this great menu, we're going to do another classic Greek ingredient is we're going to use mint. I've got some nice mint here that I pulled out of the garden this morning. We're going to chop that up and use it in place of the dill in one of our 2 varieties here. So I've already got some Greek yogurt here. Greek yogurt is really nice because it's real thick. It's got a lot of body to it, a lot of character to it. In a pinch, if you can't find Greek yogurt, you can use standard. Again, you're going to want to use unsweetened plain yogurt. But Greek's pretty easy to find in most grocery stores nowadays, so that's what we're going to use. I've got just a regular old garden variety cucumber here. You could certainly use English cucumbers if you like. The advantage of English cucumbers is that you're not going to have to seed them. You can just go ahead and dice it up and get that right in your tzatziki. I like to dice my cucumber in my tzatziki. You can actually grate this with a grater right in there too. It's all kind of what you're used to having. I like the crunch that if you get your cucumber not too finely minced, gives it a nice crunch in your tzatziki. So for the amount we're going to do here, I'm probably going to use about a quarter cucumber in each one. So I'm going to take my half here. I'm going to go ahead and peel this. The peel on this type of cucumber is not real peeling, but certainly if I was using an English cucumber, that would be one that I could certainly leave the peel on. Nice part about the English cucumbers also is that they tend to come wrapped, so you don't have to worry about all the people handling it and all of the wax on the cucumber. But again, standard cucumbers here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the peel off. Cut this end off. Again, something I don't want to use. Cut it in half. We're going to use half in each one. And again, we've got a lot of seeds in here. What works great, you really don't need anything special here. You can actually just take a spoon and just take some of these seeds right out. It comes right out without too much of an issue at all. Same, repeat it with the other half. We'll just kind of get this cleaned up. Let me grab a paper towel. Just make life a little bit easier on us here. So again, I like to leave my cucumber with a fair amount of bite to it, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut these into strips because I'm actually going to dice this into my tzatziki. Again, always, good knife skills, not worth cutting yourself on. So I'm just going to go ahead, cut all this up. Probably got maybe about a 1/16 of an inch here if you're really keeping track. Get this all nice and lined up. Again. So we got it there. And so I've probably got about a half a cup of yogurt there. So I'm going to put, again, about a quarter of a cucumber in here. You don't want to use too little because then it's you pretty much aren't getting the advantage of the texture or the taste. I love the cool, refreshing taste of the cucumber. So we've got one going on there. We're going to repeat for the second batch here. Again, cutting them into strips first. A couple of them cut back up here. Turn and dice. It's one nice part about using a wood board here with my vegetables is I don't have to worry about being real hard on my knife. So there we go. Get our cucumber out of the way, and we need to go ahead and mince our garlic. Again, probably just going to use about one clove across both these, so half a clove per. If I was using about a cup of yogurt, I'd use a whole clove of garlic in each one. Got my clove, cut the end off, that little bit of tough piece. Cut into slices. Turn them and mince. Garlic is good stuff. If you're not a big fan of the taste of raw garlic, you could certainly roast this. That's going to make it quite a bit more mild. You know, take a head of garlic, drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil, put it into some tin foil, and you can bake that off at probably about 325, 350, not too hot, for probably about an hour. And that's going to cut some of the harshness of the garlic. It's all what your taste is. Again, I like garlic. The strong bit of the garlic is not too bad for me. I am mincing this pretty fine because most people don't like getting a big chunk of garlic in there. When we serve this on our pitas or our gorditas with our falafels, it's going to give it a nice texture. So I'm going to use about a half of a clove per batch here. Alright, so now that we have our garlic in there, what we're going to do is, again, with our two ways, we've got dill in one, mint in the other. So I've got probably about, not quite a tablespoon of fresh mint here. Remember, the rule for fresh and dry is the fresh, because of the moisture content, does not have as much potency, so you're going to actually use a little bit more of this than you would the dry. So I've got about a tablespoon of fresh mint, and I'm going to use about a teaspoon of dry dill, and that's going to be roughly equal on the two. So again, this is something just like the garlic. I'm going to want to go ahead and give this a rough chop. Another advantage again of the wood board is I can get in here and really get this cut well. And I wish you folks could smell this, because this mint we pulled out of the garden this morning, as I'm cutting it here, I can just really smell the fragrance coming off of this. It's a little bit dark because, as you know, we're in Phoenix and it is getting warm out. It's actually hit 100 degrees already, so need to add a little bit more water to our herb garden to make sure that we have these nice ingredients throughout the summer. Well, that's probably pretty good. So I'm going to pull this up, and you can see after I've cut it up there that it's really kind of condensed. Great color in here. Just get a little bit more of what we got here on the board. We don't want to lose all that. So we've got our mint in there, and actually I'm looking here, judging by what I got, I'm probably going to use about a half a teaspoon of mint instead of a full teaspoon. I'm sorry, my half teaspoon of dill. So start giving this a little bit of stir. Still need to add some salt and pepper, but again, since I mentioned that my wife is allergic to dill, I'm going to make sure that I use a separate spoon here. We don't want to get these mixed together. And that's a good rule for anything as far as allergies, or if I was working with meat, I would be using a separate board here, and I would be using plastic to do any of my work with my meat. So I've got my two going here. I'm going to give it a little bit of salt. I think is a nice little bit of contrast in the fat of the yogurt. Not too much. I'm probably one of those chefs that I use little bit less salt than most because I prefer it not to overpower things. And it doesn't always call for it in traditional recipes, but I'm a big fan of pepper, so I put just a couple, 3 turns of fresh ground pepper in there. So we'll give these another stir. We'll get these covered and we will put these into the fridge to meld for a good hour. Overnight, again, would be preferable, and then I'm gonna taste it before I use them. Hope you enjoyed the recipes. Hope you enjoyed your time with us. Yamas, enjoy.